Hi everyone, my name is Ini. I'm a senior product designer on the web team, and I want to walk us through the journey of a hero. This is for the voice product page, and I will show us the different prototypes and the way we've used AI to bring this page to life and explore various creative directions. All right, in front of me is one of the directions that we had presented in Crit, which fit more into the spacey vibe that we've got going on the website. And the direction that got approved was more particles and lived in the world of Pioneer. And this was more, how do you represent voice? What does the texture of a voice look like? Originally, we had shared this prototype that I created in V0 to simulate audio waves through Aurora Borealis. That was not the direction that was chosen, but with the chosen direction, we began to try to bring it to life in different ways. This is a prototype that Sash, also on the web team, had created that simply took that further by introducing color. And these were the different ways in which we tried to explore what would be the right level of interaction. How do we visualize with animations to represent voice? Going back to this image, I began to think, is there a way for us to imagine this image in particular coming to life? Once again, another exploration that didn't quite go anywhere, but that was the whole point of it, pushing to get to great. I went back into Midjourney and tried to push forward. How will this come to life if we wanted to go in this direction? And I had this idea of what if I could build particle extractor, which meant that I would put an image into this tool and generate all the particles that I could potentially take into Cursor and then spin up a page. From there, it was more or less talking to Comet, going back and forth with it, especially because this was a browser that could read my screen. So it felt incredibly powerful to be able to go through that journey. And so together with Comet, I was able to write a Python script that I then took into Claude. And I was able to create this particle extractor. You upload an image in, whatever desired image, and being able to tweak the distance, the brightness, and then simply clicking extract data meant I could get this JSON file, because at some point I thought I could download the file, which proved to be a problem. My workaround was then to copy the JSON file. So it's a simple click. I copy the JSON file to my clipboard. I then took this into Cursor. And now going back and forth with Cursor, I was able to figure out the different ways in which this particle could come alive. But the first point was bringing this to life in the first place. And this is where I got to. In the first instance, it was absolutely empowering to go from the basic image. Then it became something that came alive, and I could then go back and forth with Curse to try to animate this. So loads and loads of explorations went into this. I'm not going to show everything, but it felt quite empowering to be able to get to this point where I could then talk to Cursor and figure out the different ways in which we could animate this and make it come alive. At this point, I was exploring how to imitate Pioneer. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you go to the Pioneer website, especially in the footer, and play with the interaction there. So that was more the mindset here. Is there a way for me to see what is possible, first of all, and also because it did not feel prudent to involve the engineers at this point, because we've got so many projects going on at the moment on Team Web. But when I got to this point, it was easier then to talk to the engineers, because by this point we're getting closer to handoff with our engineers. I sent the JSON file, the JavaScript and the HTML, sent it to the engineer, and they were able to push this to GitHub and spin this up in the actual Fin universe. And from here, loads of conversations began to happen about how we could bring this to life. We went into animating, because one of the things that we do on Team Web is trying to create fallback modes to ensure that we have different options, because we're oftentimes exploring so many directions. In case a direction doesn't work, what does the rest look like? So our animator then took all of those ideas and began to push this in Blender. Ryan was trying to simulate the different movement. Another fallback was, what happens if we are not able to get the animation live as well? So right now where we're at is we ended up going with a static version, while an engineer took all of these many beautiful ideas to try to bring the voice page to life. Ryan, once again, worked his magic in Blender and created a static version of all of these ideas we've all had, and was able to work up this image which then meant that we had this direction. So we created this page, but we're all incredibly proud that we are able to get to something there. So Robin, fantastic developer, was able to create this, which is absolutely fantastic and imitates the sound that we have actually from the product demo, which plays below. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as we've enjoyed creating this. Shout out to the team, Sash, Eva, Ryan, Robin, Ian. It's been so wonderful working together on this page, and we're excited to see the final version, which goes live. Thank you.